Hello again, guys. I'm back with some more stories for you today. Let's go to the first one about OP, who made a big drama about her sister-in-law taking money from OP's brother and saving for her daughter's college. OP called her a thief because her brother didn't know about her taking the money. But was it OP's place to call her out? I personally think that OP is in the business of minding other people's business. Enjoy the stories, guys, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, don't forget to leave a comment. I'm mostly the one in the family that is good with money, so everyone recently asked me to look over their household incomes and build them a budget. When I got to my brother's, I realized that about $300 to $500 of all his checks was being withdrawn every time. When I asked him if he knew where it was going, he said to ask his fiancée, as he didn't know. I went to ask her, and she said that she had been taking it out and putting it in a separate account for about a year now to build her daughter a college fund. I asked her if she had ever talked to my brother about this, and she said no, that she didn't feel she needed to, as he had taken on the responsibility of caring for her daughter. Mind you, this is not his child. I kind of blew up at this point and shouted at her that not only was she stealing from my brother because he had not given his consent, but that this was a needless expense. I helped my older sister teach her 3 kids and her child, and I can tell you now, she'll never have the ability to attend, much less the desire to attend college. My mother came in at that point. We all lived together, but brother was away for work at this moment, and stopped me, asking what this was about. Brother's fiancée was crying and told Mom I had called her a thief and called her daughter stupid. Without getting my side, Mom demanded I apologize, and when I tried to explain, she defended brother's girlfriend and said my brother had a responsibility to the child. I refused to apologize, but now my family are all mad at me, and I've been asked to stay in the RV we own instead of in the house. The question is, am I the a-hole? I was only trying to stop an unshared upon and unnecessary expense that they can't really afford right now. Edit. A lot of you have said that my brother could have dealt with this on his own. The reality is that he never would have confronted the situation, no matter how he actually felt. I am literally the only person he puts the effort into fighting with. He cares more about his mining fantasies than his real-life financial health. Edit 2. After my family cooled down, my mother came to the RV to inform me of 2 things. 1. While my brother did not know about the money coming out or where it was going, she and my father were. 2. My father is coming home from Texas, visiting his father who is apparently about to die of lung cancer. So he needs to quarantine in the RV, so you have to apologize today so you can move back in. I refuse to apologize even more now, knowing my parents were condoning her actions. And after talking to my older sister, I'm moving in with her and her family. We're all cutting off our parents and brother for now, which probably means that they will have to find another option for future sister-in-law's kids' school. As soon as I can, I'm taking my card off all the bills and taxes and getting a cheap apartment till I can get enough saved up to buy land. That's going to be a whole other issue when it happens. Well, in my opinion, OP is a huge a-hole here. Even if brother's fiancée is wrong for taking the money without asking him, it seems like OP's brother didn't have any problem with giving her access to his account. It depends on how committed the brother is to her and her child. However, even if she's in the wrong, it's not OP's place to confront her about it. She should have told her brother and see how he wants to handle this. Also, saying her daughter won't go to college is a horrible thing to say. Let's see what the community thinks on the situation. Briosopath says, "Everyone sucks here. It was likely wrong of your brother's fiancée to do so without permission, but it was never your place to confront her. You should have told the brother and let him decide what to do." Spritzdown says, "You're the a-hole for blowing up at her instead of talking to your brother, saying her child is too stupid to go to college. How old is this kid even? This is massive a-hole territory. And saying your brother's soon-to-be stepdaughter isn't his real kid, and he has no obligation to her. He's marrying her mom. It's kind of a package deal when people have kids. Grow up." Edit. The daughter is 7, and you said she's too stupid to have a college fund? Jesus. YMMV Butt says, "You're the a-hole. You shouldn't have gotten into this with the fiancé. The person you should have brought this up with is your brother. His money, his decision. Not paying attention is a decision, one that he seems happy with. It's not up to you to decide what his obligation is to his fiancé's child. You should never criticize how smart someone else's kid is. That'll start a fight every time. Just because you think she won't go to college doesn't mean she won't have some kind of post-high school education or training to get her started in a career." My female 37, brother-in-law, male 36, is getting married in September. Because of the popularity of the location, future sister-in-law, female 26, is losing out on a lot of her choices. Location, date, time of wedding, DJ, photographer, caterer, etc. Wedding time was settled to a midday time slot. They set up room blocks at 2 hotels as most of the guests are not local, and they chose one of the hotels for themselves as the on-site amenities will allow the wedding guests to continue socializing on-site at the lobby bar after the reception ends. As like the other guests, I will be coming from out of town. I have 4 kids who will be in the wedding along with my husband, so back in June, I reserved 2 adjoining rooms at the bride and groom's hotel of choice. Husband will be gone a lot doing best man things. When selecting, I opted to pick a suite that had an additional sitting area to allow everyone to be spread out, because I know it will be chaotic the day of. I hadn't even thought about it again until today. I've received a text from the bride yesterday that the hotel is going to call me as there's a problem with my rooms. Can she pass my info along? I replied sure, but I hope nothing is wrong, because I booked it back in June. Weird for them to be asking about it now. She said she thinks I accidentally booked the bridal suite, so they are going to call me to fix. A day passes, no call. Bride asks if anyone called, and I said no, and she responds that she is gonna K the lady. I get the call, and the manager was flustered. Turns out, the bride never booked a room for herself. The bride assumed that the room block automatically created her room reservation. For added info, the wedding is not being held at the hotel, and the bride and groom are local. There were 3 suites, but there were at least 3 other wedding blocks in the hotel, so the suites filled up quickly. The manager couldn't confirm that I would still get adjoining rooms, so I haven't given an answer. I'm hesitating because I planned ahead to ensure my family would be together, and I would be as stress-free as possible. And the only reason I'm being asked is because they could tell I booked the room by my last name. What would she have done if I didn't have the suite? Would I be the a-hole if I didn't give it up? Edit. Thanks for all those things to think about. I was irked by the presentation of the information and lack of effort on her part. It was not a bridal suite I reserved. I made the reservation through the hotel website because I couldn't get a call back from the manager in June, and I was getting anxious. There were 3 open suites for adjoining rooms, and it was not part of the room block. The adjoining room was. Called the manager again, and she found a way to reserve 2 adjoining rooms, but we'll be short the couch, so it's going to be tight sleeping arrangements. Manager was very flustered as the bride was pushing the error on the hotel. Bride didn't thank me for switching, just asked if they did anything to comp a room. I'm not pushy like that, and she replied that she would get her mom to tell them off, that she is good at making people see her way. An eye-opening glimpse that will impact my perceptions of future interactions. Note to add, they live in a 400 square foot living space, so staying there wasn't an option. Wish me luck on this upcoming wonderful event. That's a tricky situation, but OP is definitely not in the wrong here. Her failure to plan is not now OP's emergency. She should have made sure the hotel provided her accommodations. She did not. It's hers, not OP's problem. She can stay at her own home. And it was really rude of her to not ask, but pretend OP made the mistake when OP did not book the bridal suite. Had she said, "I really screwed up, can you help me out?" OP might have considered it, but OP needs adjoining rooms for her family. Just because it's her wedding doesn't mean she gets to kick OP out of her rooms. Let's hear the community's opinion. Stranger on Reddit says, "Not the a-hole. I'd literally just text her something like, 'I just verified my booking with the hotel. There was no issue, but thanks. Can't wait for your special day.' I think it's kind of crappy she wasn't upfront about her flub, and tried to spin it like the hotel messed up her booking." Biofilm Warrior says, "Not the a-hole. If the bride had been upfront and said, 'The hotel didn't hold a suite for us, and there are none available. Would you be willing to give up the suite you booked for the bridal party to use?' OP could have said, 'As long as we are guaranteed connecting rooms, sure, we can do that for you.' I would be inclined to say no a-hole. However, the bride didn't say that, and implied that the OP had made a mistake in booking the suite. Tried to make the hotel do her, the bride's, dirty work for her, and didn't offer to work with OP in the hotel to make sure that if OP gave up the suite, OP's family would get adjoining or connecting rooms. So I'd suggest that OP keeps the suite, and if she gets pushback, say, 'Get us connecting rooms and we'll happily switch.'" Kanukastanian71 says, "Not the a-hole. You had the forethought to plan ahead and make sure that your family would be comfortably accommodated. Her poor planning is not your problem, especially since she is local to the venue." Ordered 2 wedding dresses, both of which I loved, and one for my wedding. I ordered them to my mom's house because I live in the city and was worried about them being stolen. On Sunday, the three of us were talking, sister next to me and mom on speakerphone, about it arriving this week since tracking said it was coming. We all agreed nobody tries on the dresses, as my mom says it's bad juju. And I think it's flat out inappropriate for anyone to put on my dress. I don't want anyone in my wedding dress. Well, today my mom casually texts me, "Your sister tried on your gown. It's so tiny. It would never fit you. It's not even nicely made." What? I literally lost my crap. Why the duck is she trying on my dress after we literally just agreed nobody tries on the dress? I cannot wrap my head around why either of them would do this. Why would my mom even ask, and why would my sister say yes? However, they're trying to frame it as if they were helping me because the dress didn't look right, so they wanted to check it out. It looked too small, and after putting it on, I can't wear it anyway, so they've saved me the trouble. What the duck? I don't think that's the point, and this is a horrible plea at self-preservation. I'm absolutely furious because I feel that they robbed me of that decision to make myself. They keep saying the other one is nicer. I don't care. Let me decide that. Now I can't get the image out of my head of my sister trying on my wedding dress, even if it is the wrong size. Who the duck does that? They've both said sorry, but it's one of those half-hearted sorries where you aren't really sorry because they don't think they did anything wrong. My anger feels completely warranted, and this whole situation is extremely disappointing. Calculated behavior on their part. I'm just not liking the whole vibe, and this is leaving a very bad taste in my mouth. A simple, "Wow, I didn't think of it that way, and I'm very sorry to upset you about your ducking wedding." This is supposed to be something special for me, and it's a boundary. It can be enjoyable if shared by all parties. My future husband, future sister-in-law, and cousin all agreed with me that my mom and sister are the a-hole, but I'm feeling gaslighted by mom and sister, so now I'm starting to rethink that I'm the unreasonable one, and it's not a big deal. Am I the a-hole? I think it's time to return the dresses and look for new dresses while keeping them in the dark. When it eventually comes up again, OP should tell them they lost her trust, and OP will be dress shopping without their input from now on. Clever account name 13 says, "It is actually concerning that you all had to agree that nobody else tries on the dress except you. That should have been a given. It sounds like you and your mom knew your sister was likely to try it on, and even after agreeing not to, she did. Your sister is an a-hole. I'm sure this is only the latest instance of that. Not the a-hole." Bobby Fish says, "Not the a-hole. I genuinely don't think this is a Bridezilla moment, because who the hell tries on someone's wedding dress before them? There is something seriously wrong with your mother and sister. Has your sister shown signs of being jealous of you in the past, or being attention-seeking? If not, I suggest you let this one go, accept their half-hearted apology, and move on from it. Maybe they were trying to help. I don't know how, but at least you know now you can't trust your mother's house as someplace safe for deliveries. With everything going on, maybe pause the wedding dress ordering until you're able to order it to your home or someone else you trust. I understand you're angry. I would 100% be too, but I'm assuming this is not relationship breaking. Be the bigger person. You're better than them. Don't apologize though. You've done nothing wrong. Congrats on your engagement and good luck with the wedding." Fluffy Dust says, "Not the a-hole. You told your sister not to try on your dress, but she did it anyway. She is the a-hole for not listening to you and trying it on before one of the most important days of your ducking life." So basically, I am a huge advocate for the body positivity movement. This isn't what my post is about, but I think it illustrates why I got so passionate about this issue. My future sister-in-law, who is maybe 10 to 20 pounds overweight, is not at all, and we've gotten into arguments in the past over thin privilege, etc. One of my really big pet peeves is the lack of affordable, cute clothing that is acceptable to plus-size women. If you can't afford to shop at plus-size boutiques, then you're basically relegated to very unflattering bag dresses from Goodwill, a la Gypsy Rose, Blanchard's mom. Until I went wedding dress shopping with future sister-in-law and the bridal party, which I think she's only included me in because she was in mine 10 years ago when she was 17 and dating my brother-in-law, and she feels bad. I didn't realize that the expensive, cute, plus-size axiom extended to wedding dresses in a massive way, because I wasn't plus-size when I got married. But out of curiosity, I realized that the few boutiques who has plus-size dresses sold them for much more than the thin sizes. My sister-in-law is kind of in between plus-size sizing and regular sizing, depending on the boutique. Because she's just chubby. She's very short, which makes the sizing go kind of nuts. Anyway, After a few appointments, my sister-in-law hones in on a dress she likes but is insanely expensive. Her maid of honor then finds a few sample sales going, where basically she can get the look for half the price by buying straight off the rack and having it altered herself. She and the maid of honor went to the sample sales alone, and she excitedly lets us know on WhatsApp that she got the dress. It's just a little bit big, and she has to have it altered. Well, anyway, I didn't really think much of it until we were all at my mother-in-law's house for Father's Day yesterday. She was talking about the dress, and brother-in-law goes, "It must be 4 times your size." And she says, "It's really only a few sizes up, but when it's altered and I take some panels out, it'll be great." I found myself getting really upset because it sounds like she bought a plus-size dress, taking away that opportunity from an actual plus-size bride who may not have had the money to afford one, while she had the privilege to be able to go to more sales or even buy from a boutique. This woman would not have had the same abilities, and it could have been her dream dress. I told my sister-in-law about this, and she basically told me to scram because she didn't care. Well, now I'm pissed, and I gather my child and tell my husband to get a ride home. When he gets home later, he's clearly been talking to future sister-in-law because he said she's really upset that she upset me, and how could I have been so rude, etc. I have tried to teach him about the body positivity movement, but he still doesn't understand a lot of things, and he wasn't in the mood to listen and told me to get over it and apologize. But honestly, this made me want to quit the wedding party, or at least not show up for the next few events. Would I be the a-hole for not doing either of those things? Wow, this is just ridiculous. OP is getting offended on behalf of some imaginary plus-sized bride that OP doesn't even know. This is a really stupid hill to die on and ruin relationships over. Let's see if the community agrees with me. SJHC Jellybean says, "You're the a-hole. I get being passionate about this because I too am plus size. But are you really serious? Really? You owe her an apology. Sounds like you owe her husband one too for pitching a fit and leaving him hanging to deal with the fallout of you being a child." Mr. Poohfinger says, "You're the a-hole. How dare you tell her she can't buy and modify a dress because it could have went to someone else more overweight who could appreciate it more? Unless you have the ability to see the future. For all you know, that dress could have sat there for ages. It's none of your business, and now you started a stupid fight over these ridiculous ethics you have." Lukey Bunny says, "You're the a-hole, OP. How dare you ever buy anything on sale when there are people poorer than you that could appreciate it more?